Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Euro 2024 Qualifier Prediction Series. This time we're going to be taking a look at Matchday 7 and 8. There are a total of 10 match days, so we're nearly done with this series. In this international break, we will know about some of the teams that will be participating in Euro 2024. And in December, apart from some of the playoff matches, we will know the groups. So this year's already gone by really fast. But yeah, if you don't already know the drill, I'm going to be taking a look at every single match that's happening in this international break. Some I will be going over more than others just because there's so much to go through. Please, if you haven't already, drop an early like, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. Starting off with Latvia versus Armenia. Latvia sit at the bottom of the group with 5-for-5 losses, basically no chance to qualify at the moment. I really thought they would stir this group up a little bit more, and they still can, but so far, no success. Armenia, despite sitting at third, definitely still have a chance to prove themselves. In the last international break, they just fell short to Croatia and drew to Turkey away, and they've already gotten the best of Wales and Latvia in the previous match days, including scoring 4 goals against Wales while they were the away side, which is actually a very tough task. I forgot when it was broken, but previously Wales had a fantastic home record. There is a chance that Latvia can finally stir things up, have Wales potentially go over Armenia, but I don't think it's going to happen. Based on Armenia's solid efforts and performances, I think they are definitely the favorites here. Could be wrong, but I'm going to go for 2-0 Armenia. Now for Spain versus Scotland. We already know that in the second match day, Scotland got the best of Spain, which set Spain back a bit, but now they're going to be looking to potentially fight with them for that first place spot. But ever since that loss to Scotland, things have been looking up for Spain. They won the Nations League, beating Italy and then Croatia. Then in match days 5 and 6, they demolished both of their opponents, beating Georgia 7-1 away and then Cyprus 6-0. But you cannot ignore what Scotland have done so far. 5-for-5 wins, fighting till the end in every single matchup. This will probably be the break that secures their Euro qualification no matter what happens in this result. Looks like they're going to be getting first or second place. So unless something shocking happens, congratulations in advance to Scotland for qualifying for Euro 2024. But I think this is Spain's time to get revenge. I'm sorry, Scotland. Look, I've been wrong about you guys so many times. I know. Trust me, I will not be surprised if they make it 6-for-6 wins, but I am going to go for Spain, getting the best of them here. I'm going for 2-1. Now for Belarus versus Romania. Romania have that second place spot for now, but Israel just trailed behind them, so they very much need to grab a win here if they want to continue to edge them before they have to face each other. Belarus only got 1 win against Kosovo so far. The rest have been losses or a draw, and Romania beat them 2-1 last time around, so I'm going to go for the same exact result. Romania getting the away win here. Moving on to another matchup in this group, Andorra versus Kosovo. Both of these teams are at the bottom winless. Kosovo picked up many draws, even against Switzerland. But yeah, obviously these sides already faced each other and neither were able to grab a win. I think it could potentially be the same exact score or Kosovo just edging them this time around. I'll be hopeful for Kosovo one more time, and that's probably it, as they've really disappointed me this qualified campaign. I will say they grab a 1-0 win against Andorra away. This next matchup is going to be epic. Albania versus Czech Republic. Albania at the top of the group at the moment. Czech Republic just behind them, but they do have a match in hand, and there are 2 points behind them as well. So things can definitely shift here, but we cannot forget about Albania's incredible international break last time around. They drew with Czech Republic away, and then they ended up being Poland on their home ground. The 2 quote-unquote tougher teams in this group. This group overall is still a bit tight. Moldova is at third with the same amount of points as Czech Republic. Poland have really fallen off. We'll get into them later. They still potentially have the chance to catch up. Can't really play it safe on this one. I think it will finish in a 0-0 draw though. Now for Faroe Islands versus Poland. Poland's first match since sacking Fernando Santos, who has done a terrible job at the managerial role. Michal Probierz is the new coach, who already has experience with the U19 and U21 team, and being Polish himself, he'll definitely have more of a connection with the players. Fernando Santos really failed to fuel and get the best out of the incredible talent Polska possess, and I do think their new manager will be able to get them off to a decent start against the Faroe Islands. I'm going to go for a 3-1 victory for Polska. Now for Israel versus Switzerland. Israel really needs to come fueled to this match if they want to continue to be neck on neck with Romania. But now they're going to have to come against the toughest team on paper in this group, Switzerland, who have slipped sometimes, but they have never lost. 2 draws, 4 wins. The last time these sides faced each other, Switzerland demolished them 3-0, and that's Israel's only loss. Other than that, it's always been draws or very narrow wins. Both times they beat Belarus was from a stoppage time goal, and even though they're the home side in this, it's going to be tough to kind of pull that kind of magic against a much tougher side on paper. So I'm sorry, Israel, but I'm going to have to go with a narrow Swiss win of 2-1. Now for Cyprus versus Norway. Cyprus with no wins or draws so far at the bottom with a -15 goal difference. Meanwhile, Norway are still trying to find their way to climb to the top 2. It's for sure going to be a tough lead against a very informed Scotland and Spain, but I think they'll definitely have what it takes to grab 3 points here. I'm going to say they beat Cyprus 3-0. Now for Croatia versus Turkey. Both of these countries sit at first and second with 10 points each, and Croatia have a match in hand. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that if Croatia win both of their games in this international break, they will for sure qualify for Euro 2024. They'll be playing in a brand new stadium in Osijek as well. I tried to get tickets for that, but it's already sold out. But yeah, they already beat Turkey 2-0 away back in March. I think they'll be able to do it again. Same exact scoreline. Croatia get a solid result here. Bruno Petkovic is injured. Ivan Perisic is not available as well, but I still think they have enough quality to get the job done. Now for Estonia versus Azerbaijan. Honestly, this matchup doesn't really matter. Both these sides are not qualifying for Euro 2024. They are dead last in their difficult group. But regardless, I'll say that they still both end up winless and it finishes another draw, 1-1. Moving on to Ireland versus Greece. Unless an absolute miracle happens, Ireland basically lost their chance to qualify for Euro 2024. It's a bit of a shame as they have a lot of incredible youngsters coming in, but they'll just have to wait till the next qualifier campaign. Greece, on the other hand, have already beat them head-to-head, and they put off some close fights against some top teams like France, but the Dutch quite literally demolished them in the last international break. But I'm going to go for a draw here. A boring match that finishes 0-0. Watch this be the most exciting one now. Now for Netherlands versus France. These sides faced each other on the first match day, and France absolutely destroyed the Dutch. It finished 4-0, but to be fair, a lot of the Netherlands players were suffering either an injury or an illness. It was unlucky. There was a lot of questions about Koeman, though, as he couldn't really prove himself at the Nations League, even though when the entire final event was being played in their country. But they have recently looked to bounce back now, and the country will be backing them in their own home nation, of course, against a very tough French team who haven't drawn or lost a single game yet. So it's going to be difficult for the Dutch. Anything's possible, though. They could potentially grab a win here, but I am still going to go for France to win this 2-1. Now for Iceland versus Luxembourg. Luxembourg are a very interesting team right now, as the only team they have lost to so far in their group is Portugal, which makes sense. But both of those losses have been demolitions. 6-0 and 9-0. 9-0 being Portugal's best ever victory in their history. Iceland's only 2 wins so far came against Liechtenstein and Bosnia, but when they faced Portugal, they only lost by 1 goal. Both of these sides are considered underdogs in their group, but Luxembourg, despite these Portugal blows, have really been surprising many people. The fact that they are still potentially competing for that top 2 position, slightly behind Slovakia, sure, it's not looking too likely, but they could be motivated to grab a win here. And they've also already beaten Iceland 3-1. So I'm going to say they beat them 2-1 this time around. All right, I'm wearing a different shirt because I'm in the middle of recording match day, but I just realized I forgot to mention Austria versus Belgium. A massive matchup. Both these sides looking to automatically qualify at the moment for Euro 2024. Whoever wins this essentially does, as they're tied at the top with the same amount of points. Austria have really been fantastic this qualifier campaign. Ralf Rangnick, like I said many times, has really been impressive. I'm going to go for Belgium edging in here, though. They beat Austria 1-0. Also, somehow forgot about Liechtenstein versus Bosnia. I also think it will be more narrow than it should be, but I'll say Bosnia scored 2 goals against them. But moving on to Portugal versus Slovakia, who already played each other in the last international break, where Portugal only beat them 1-0, and it looked to be the match that Portugal struggled in the most. Slovakia had a perfect chance to equalize that hit the post, and they really put off a fantastic fight. Portugal were the away side, though, and I think them being at home, they'll be able to score a lot more goals against them. So I'm going to say it finishes 3-0 for Portugal. They have 6 for 6 wins right now, and it should be that way, as on paper, they definitely outmatch any of the countries in this group. Since that would put them at such an advantage over Slovakia in terms of the point gap, I'm pretty sure this would have them qualify for Euro 2024. Now for Northern Ireland versus San Marino. Northern Ireland have been in dreadful form. Their only win so far has been against San Marino, and no offense to San Marino, that's not much of a surprise. Based on the looks of it, this is San Marino's genuine only real opportunity where they can maybe salvage a point. But I don't think it's going to happen. Ireland grabbed the 3 points at the end. They beat San Marino 2-0. Moving on to Ukraine versus North Macedonia. definitely a match that we should all pay attention to, as this group is really close. Italy, Ukraine, and Macedonia all share the same amount of points, Italy with the match in hand, but still, despite them looking very much to not be the favorites to do so, North Macedonia still not giving up in this qualifier campaign, even after somewhat halting Italy in the last break where it finished in a draw. Last time these sides faced each other, it was an absolute thriller. Macedonia had a 2-0 lead, and Ukraine made an epic comeback where it finished 3-2. After that, all of Ukraine's results have been very narrow, but to be fair, they did draw to England. So I think this one's going to finish narrow once again, but going Ukraine's way. Sorry, Macedonia, please prove me wrong, but I'm going for 1-0 Ukraine. Now, a group that's even crazier how close it is Group H. Let's move on to Slovenia versus Finland. Slovenia and Denmark have 13 points at first and second. Finland and Kazakhstan have third and fourth with 12. So anything can flip around by the end of this match day. Props to every single one of these teams, maybe apart from Denmark since expectations are so high from them. But still, they're keeping it close. They've all been playing really good football so far. Finland already had to play Denmark twice, and those were their only 2 losses. As of now, they've beaten every other team they faced, including obviously Slovenia. Meanwhile, the only team Slovenia lost to was Finland. So to me, this is not an easy one to call, an absolute flip of a coin. I'll be hopeful for Slovenia though and say they just edged Finland 1-0. Next up, Bulgaria versus Lithuania, 2 winless countries coming up against one another. I'll say Bulgaria finally get their first win, but only score 1 goal. Next up, Hungary versus Serbia. One of the bigger matchups. Hungary already got the best of Serbia in the last international break, even when they were the away side. They currently hold the top spot undefeated with the match in hand. Meanwhile, Serbia, as we know, do not have a good track record at qualifying for the Euros. So maybe they'll scare their country once again and put themselves at a weird position, and it really could come down to that next matchup against Montenegro. At the time of this recording, Dusan Vlahovic does have an injury as well. I'm not really sure what the updates are on that. I'm obviously rooting for Serbia here. I initially predicted them to top this group, but they do not look to be the most promising right now. I really hope I'm wrong on that, but I think Hungary will just edge them here, especially if they're the home side. I'm going to go for a narrow 2-1 victory once again. Now for Denmark versus Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan grabbed a massive win against them last time around, an epic comeback on their home ground, finishing 3-2, one of the best matches in this Euro Qualifier campaign so far. Can they replicate that kind of success again? It might be tough. Denmark know that they are in a very tight position right now, but of course anything's possible. I want to believe in Kazakhstan, but this looks to be Denmark's perfect time to shine to actually top this group. So I'm going to go for a Denmark 2-0 victory against Kazakhstan. Please prove me wrong though. And the final match in match day 7, we still got match day 8 though, Italy versus Malta. A must win for Italy, to be honest, looking at their later opponents. So I'm going to say they're able to do it here. 3-0. Brand new day, match day 8, let's go. Starting off with Georgia versus Cyprus. Looks like Georgia are going to have to rely on that playoff bracket happening later on. Despite them somewhat struggling in this very difficult group, I think that they will be able to comfortably beat Cyprus here. I'm going to go for 3-0. Now for Switzerland versus Belarus. I think Switzerland can go all out here. Sometimes they do get halted a bit. They are undefeated at the time of this recording, but with the quality they have, they technically should be grabbing only wins here, and they have gotten a few draws, but I definitely think they have what it takes to score loads of goals in this. I'm going to go for 4-0. Now moving on to Czechia versus Faroe Islands. No idea what's going to happen in that Albania fixture, but here I definitely see Czechia coming out on top. I'm going to go for a solid 2-0 victory. Now for Turkey versus Latvia, I bring this up a lot, but we have seen Latvia halt Turkey in the last World Cup qualifier campaign. Could easily happen here, maybe could be some scary moments, but I'm going to go for Turkey winning this one 3-1. Now for Wales versus Croatia, I obviously want to be very hopeful for Croatia to secure the Euro 2024 qualification. However, it wouldn't surprise me if they're somewhat halted here. Although Romania just proved the statement wrong, it's very difficult to go to Wales away, and Croatia in many matches in the past and qualifier campaigns love to leave everything till the last minute. Won't be surprised if we have to wait a whole nother international break before we potentially confirm Euro 2024 qualification. But of course, I'm going to be hopeful for my own national team. I'm going to say Croatia win this 1-0. Now for Norway versus Spain. Norway are going to be fueled in this, and they're playing in their own home ground. They haven't had a good start to the Euro Qualifier campaign. This is a massive match for them to bounce back, but it's going to be extremely difficult against a very informed Spain. This is their golden opportunity to take the top 2 positions. But I'm sorry, Norway, you guys let me down too many times. At the beginning, I predicted you guys to secure top 2. I just don't see it happening against Spain, especially with the form they've been in. I'm going to go for Spain, grabbing a very solid 2-0 away victory. Next up, Kosovo versus Israel. Oh, this is a tough one. Last time these sides faced each other, it finished in a draw. But Israel, they need to stay on track, especially if they're already playing Switzerland. Anything's possible, but they'll probably lose there. So this is a must-win, essentially, if they really want to stay just behind Romania. Yeah, I'm going to say they get the narrow win. Another stoppage time winner, potentially 1-0 for Israel away. Poland versus Moldova, the ultimate rematch. Moldova last time around heavily upset these guys after blowing a 2-0 lead. They came back and beat Poland 3-2. One of the biggest fixtures resulting in Fernando Santos' sacking. Well, like I said, Poland have a new manager now. It's going to definitely be a mystery in terms of how they do, especially in the first match. But I think they have what it takes to not blow a lead this time. I'm going to say they're able to beat Moldova 2-0. Good luck to Moldova, though, truly. What they've been doing is incredible. Now, for Romania versus Andorra, I think this is Romania's perfect opportunity to basically continue to hold on to that second place spot. I'm saying they're able to beat Andorra here 2-0. Moving on now to Azerbaijan versus Austria. If Belgium happened to defeat Austria in the last international break, then this is Austria's mega opportunity to just seal the deal. They have such a point difference compared to the likes of Sweden, so basically Sweden are out. Maybe they'll leave the fans a bit nervous, but I still think they'll be able to do it away. I'm going to go for a narrow win. 2-1 to Austria. Moving on to Belgium versus Sweden. Sweden basically have no chance to qualify for the Euros at this point. It would take an absolute miracle, and every time they faced either Belgium or Austria, they have been battered. So I think it's going to happen once again. Maybe this could finally lead the Sweden FA to realize they need to sack their manager. But I'm going to go for Belgium winning this 4-1. Now for Greece versus Netherlands. Last time I went ambitious to say Greece could potentially get an upset here since Netherlands have really not been looking to be in the best of form. They heavily let me down, but they also were missing the likes of Mavropanos. Netherlands were able to grab a 3-0 win, and they scored all the goals in the first half. I don't think it's going to be that strong since they are the away side this time around, but I'm still going to go for Netherlands winning this match 2-0. Now taking a look at Luxembourg versus Slovakia, a very tricky one to call. Last time these sides faced each other, it finished in a 0-0 draw. And at the time of this recording, they still remain undefeated to every single team in this group apart from Portugal. But Slovakia do have a lead in the table that they want to potentially solidify. Depending on this result and the previous match day, this could be time for them to finally automatically qualify for Euro 2024. Tough one, but I'm going to say Luxembourg make it interesting. It finishes in another draw, this time 1-1 though, leaving it a bit more of a surprise on what's going to happen on the final international break for this qualifier campaign. Now for Iceland versus Liechtenstein. Iceland were able to get the biggest win against Liechtenstein out of all the teams so far. They demolished them 7-0. Can they do it again? I'm not going to go for as massive of a victory, but I'll still say they come out on top by a lot. 4-0. Moving on now to Gibraltar versus Ireland. Despite Ireland being away, I think they have what it takes to at least get 3 goals. 3-0. Bosnia versus Portugal now. I'm sorry, Bosnia, but you guys have really been disappointing recently. You should be competing for the top, and the fact they have to play Portugal one more time, it's not looking good. Portugal clean sweeping every team here. It's going to happen to Bosnia, despite Portugal being the away side. Definitely think so if they couldn't beat Luxembourg even at home. I'm saying Portugal win 3-1 away. Next up, Finland versus Kazakhstan. Toss up for sure based on how Kazakhstan have been playing, but last time these sides faced each other, Finland grabbed a 1-0 away victory. I really hate to be cruel to Kazakhstan. They really have been showing a lot of heart and determination here, and I really hope I'm wrong on this. Finland are able to win 2-1 at home. Prove me wrong, Kazakhstan. I would love to see you guys make your debut at the Euros, and you still got the playoffs. Moving on to Serbia versus Montenegro, one of the biggest matchups in this match day. If Serbia failed to beat Hungary in match day 7, and Montenegro beats Serbia in match day 8, Montenegro will overtake them in the table. They are just 2 points behind them. And if that happens and Serbia continue to slip and Montenegro continue to rise, Serbia will be left out of yet another Euro tournament. They haven't made a single one since becoming an independent nation. And it would be crazy if a country that used to be united with them is the reason why they don't make it. Despite the history and despite the struggles with this national team though, I'm going to say they barely come out on top here. 2-1 victory for Serbia. San Marino versus Denmark now. Sorry, San Marino. Denmark are going to win this. I'll go for 5-0. Returning to the massive matchups though, England versus Italy. Italy very much need this win more than England. Like I already mentioned, they're quite neck and neck on points with Ukraine and North Macedonia, so they need to solidify themselves because they could easily slip to one of those teams. But England at the same time are looking to automatically qualify for Euro 2024, and it would be hilarious for them to see Italy crumble here, as Italy are the reason why they didn't win Euro 2020. Very interesting dilemma between the two countries. I don't think Italy are as strong of a unit though compared to 2020. I do see this either being a draw or England winning this narrowly. I think England has what it takes to just airily edge them for a 2-1 victory. Malta versus Ukraine now. Would not be surprised if Malta make this difficult. I know that sounds crazy, but Ukraine's still very much the dominant side here, so I am going to say they grab a 2-0 victory away. The reason why I say I wouldn't be surprised is because last time, Ukraine only beat them 1-0. Moving on to Lithuania versus Hungary. Lithuania randomly slowing down certain teams. I'm mainly looking at Montenegro. Surprised they couldn't grab 3 points against them, as Lithuania are not known to be a football nation. But Hungary definitely have the quality to at least get 2 goals. But I'm going to say they get 3 here. They beat Lithuania away 3-0. And the final match we're looking at in this video, Northern Ireland versus Slovenia. Like I already mentioned, Northern Ireland have been an absolute disaster. Maybe they can turn things around and potentially cause Slovenia to slip here, but I don't see it happening. I'm going to say Slovenia only win this 1-0 because that just seems to be a very safe pick of a scoreline whenever Northern Ireland lose. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are my Matchday 7 and 8 predictions for this Euro Qualifier campaign. As always, let me know your predictions in the comments below, and I'll obviously be reacting to all these predictions as soon as this international break is over. So make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for that. The international break after this one is only in a month from when these matches start. So very soon, we will know many of the teams that are qualifying. Cannot wait. Of course, loads of content coming up, Euro 2024 related, until the tournament begins. Tier lists, predictions, all that good stuff. So don't miss out on all of that. Thank you all for making it to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. La cu noci.